Okay, well, anyways, hopefully you guys can hear me. But again, some of the things that we're going to cover are networking opportunities, your sphere of influence, your contact sphere, how networking works to increase your sales, and how to succeed at networking. So if you guys haven't been able to hear me for the last few minutes, I apologize. I'll just give you my quick introduction once more. I really believe that networking is a great way for home improvement and home service professionals to grow their business. There's often a level of distrust with people in our industry, and word of mouth referrals can really bypass that at times because people view referrals from friends and family on a much higher level than they would a TV advertisement or something they see online. They know that someone has had a positive experience and they just feel much more comfortable. So typically referrals close at a higher rate than other leads that you may bring in. I really believe in traditional marketing as well as digital. I know my course covers a lot of digital marketing strategies, but when done the right way, you can really grow your brand with traditional marketing opportunities such as networking. So I wasn't always a great networker when I first started doing it in college. I wasn't really sure how to approach people and talk to them about my business or about my future career or opportunities. I just felt like I didn't have a purpose. And I committed to continuing to going to different events. I wasn't ever really part of a formal networking group at that time, but I did go a lot of places, meet a lot of people, and I've met people that have greatly helped me in my career, people that I've been able to work with, make money from, and people that I consider friends to this day. So they've all been really great connections that I've built, and hopefully I will be able to show you how to do the same in your business. So we will continue. So some of the basics of networking, some of you may already know all of this, but for those of you who don't, I want to really stress that it is not about selling your product. Some of the biggest standout moments in people's minds when they think of networking is the time that they went to an event and they had someone that was just hard selling them nonstop. You'll see people that will come up to you with an iPad showing you their products and talking to you about why you should buy. And that is the absolute worst thing that you can do, because that's not the reason people are there. They start to feel uncomfortable and they start to view you in a very negative way if that's the way that you present yourself. You also need to remember that it's about giving just as much, if not more, than about receiving. So everyone is there to connect with each other and hopefully find some referrals and get some business. But you have to be focused more on the other person than you are focused on yourself. So Zig Ziglar has a really great quote, and it says, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people or enough other people get what they want. And I feel like that is not only great for networking, but great for life in general. However, it heavily applies to the mindset that you should have when you are networking. If you help everyone else, they're going to see that in you. They're going to see something really positive, and they're going to try and go out of their way to reciprocate. You also just need to be genuinely interested in others. A lot of people do have this fear of going up to people and talking, and a lot of people don't like talking about themselves, so it makes them feel really anxious. But you just need to be interested in what the other person has to say. And I find that when you do that and you listen twice as much as you speak, you really find these common connections and you're able to develop that relationship. You also just need to do what you say you're going to do. And that goes from even just saying you'll follow up with someone or saying you'll reach out to someone on their behalf, all the way to actually getting a big job from someone or with someone and pricing it the way that you promised and just following through on what you said you could deliver. And just remember that everybody's there for the same reason. Everyone's there to grow their business. Everyone's there to meet people and build connections and find these long-term business relationships. So you should not feel in any way uncomfortable because you're there to do exactly the same thing that everyone else is there to do. So there are several networking opportunities that you can find wherever you live. I know a lot of people in this course are from different parts of the world. So I'm not really sure what's there for you specifically, but I can tell you a lot about what is here in America. And I'm sure that there's some very similar opportunities wherever you live. So one of them is a really formal or structured type of networking group, like a BNI. I had never been a part of anything like that up until last year. So I am in a BNI group now, and I really enjoy it. It's definitely a very structured group with a set format and rules that you need to follow in order to be successful. Some people may not like that. I find that it's really motivating. It tells you exactly what you need to do. And I think it works really well. I've made a lot of really awesome connections that I value so much. And I'm sure that it's going to continue to help me as I continue along in that group. You can also go to local chambers of commerce. Those are a little less structured and formal, and some of them meet a lot less frequently. BNI groups can meet every week. Chambers sometimes meet once a month, but they can also meet more frequently. You could also go to industry-specific groups, such as a builders association or a real estate association. A lot of people in this industry network well with each other, and that's a great way to meet others that can hopefully pass referrals your way that may not fit their business. You can also just go to casual business gatherings, or sometimes they're not business gatherings at all. It could be something like an alumni event, volunteer opportunities. There's a lot of meetups that you can find out about online that happen offline for a lot of different topics. I know there's a lot of real estate meetups all over the city. So that's a really easy way to connect with other professionals in your area, but it's a much more casual environment. You can also find people to connect with at church groups and things that you may not ever consider to be a networking opportunity. And you're not going to hard sell anyone, but you're definitely not going to make it only about business when you're in those situations. But the great thing is that if you're in a volunteer opportunity or a church group or anything like that with someone else, you already have a common connection. You already have that common ground, and that's going to just help your bond right away. You already have something you can talk about, something that you share. So I would really just kind of focus on those things, focus on talking about what you're passionate about and listening to that other person. And you will find that business comes up as you dive deeper into that person's life, because business is a big part of almost everyone's life. And then there's online networking. I think that social media is a great opportunity to network. You definitely have to do it in a different way, even more than structured networking groups where you don't want to hard sell anyone. Social media is like a cocktail party. You're not going to go to a cocktail party and tell everyone to buy your product or do nothing but talk about business. You have to mix it in with the conversation. You have to show what you can do and be excited about what you do and simply share things in your life. And hopefully you will make those connections. I really enjoy LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great networking group for professionals. So it definitely is more about business than any of the other social media platforms. I have built some great connections on LinkedIn over the years. I've made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in sales from LinkedIn, and I've had an awesome experience. And sometimes you can start a conversation with somebody and let them know that you have a business opportunity that would be great for them. But it's more about providing value with that opportunity than just saying, hey, would you be interested in hiring me or working with me or paying me for whatever it is that I'm doing for you? So there are a lot of different places to network, as you can see. So you just need to think about which one's going to be the best fit for you and focus on that, because you don't want to spread yourself too thin. There are some of these that are a lot more time intensive or financially involved than others. Some of these groups cost money. So you need to find what's going to be the best fit for you, something that's going to work for your schedule and that you feel like is going to have a group of professionals that's going to be able to really help your business grow. Next, we're going to cover your sphere of influence. So your sphere of influence is basically the people who your opinion is very highly regarded. These are people that if you told them they should do something, they would do it, or they would seriously consider doing it because you have influence over them. Most people, their sphere of influence is not huge. Unless you are a well-known educator or some type of celebrity, whether large or small, or if you're involved in really large groups and you're very active in those, you could have a larger sphere of influence. It's been said that 150 people is the maximum amount of people that a person can keep relationships with and actually keep up with those people. So if 150 people is the maximum amount of human relationships you can maintain, your sphere of influence is going to be so much lower than that. So I think that it's really important to determine who you want in your sphere of influence. This doesn't just happen by chance. You have influence over people who you connect with on a mental level, that you can provide value to, and that you spend time with or spend time nurturing that relationship. So your sphere of influence is going to be constantly evolving. You'll have different people in that over time, because some people you lose touch with, then you're going to gain new people in that group. But what it's really important to do is to be very, very direct in how you approach this and say, who do I want in my sphere of influence? Who are the people that if I were to have that type of relationship with them, it could mean big things for my business? And there are people all around you that could do that. And maybe you've never even considered it before, but I just really want you to be specific and strategic in how you approach this. Make a list of everyone, whether you know them or not, that you feel like could make a huge impact on your business. Write that list down. It could be people you know and people you don't know. And think about where those people are. What groups are those people involved in? What events do those people go to? How could you reach out to them? Social media and online connection has made it so easy to get in touch with people. And you don't have to say, hey, I want you to be in my sphere of influence, but offer to help them in some way. Give them value. People are always being asked for things, but if you can just voluntarily help someone without being asked, that's a really easy way to stand out in this world. So be strategic, be direct in your approach to this, and make that list and continue to work it over time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but if even one of those people could be in your sphere of influence, that you could have this really influential relationship with them, that would make all the difference. So now we're going to cover a contact sphere. So I don't know if this is just a BNI term, but I first started hearing about it when I joined my BNI group. And I think it's a really great way to think about networking, because there are so many different professions out there and there's so many different industries out there. Some of them are not going to be a great fit for your business. They're just not going to have an easy time passing referrals to you, and you're not going to have an easy time getting referrals to them. Obviously, we all come across people who have different needs in our life. So our ears are going to be open, and yes, we're going to try and help them if we can, but it's going to be much more of a struggle, and we're going to feel like we can't provide them as much value as someone who would be in our contact sphere. So contact spheres are basically made up of different industries. The industry you would be in would be real estate. So that's going to cover real estate professionals, real estate agents and brokers, mortgage lenders. It's going to cover construction people and home service people. There's a big list, and I'll show you a few on the next slide. But those are the people that are really going to make a difference in terms of referrals for you. And that's because it's going to be very effortless in a lot of ways. You are going to naturally hear about people that are looking for those other things, because they all go hand in hand. If you hear of somebody moving, they're automatically going to need a real estate agent. They're going to potentially need a home inspector. If the interior needs to be renovated, they'll need a contractor. They could need a plumber, an electrician, an HVAC person, an interior designer. There's so many different needs that one person could have. And let's say that real estate agent is the first contact with them. If you're in their contact sphere and you know them and you are networking with them, when that need comes up, the homeowner is most likely going to ask that agent who they know, because they are well aware that when you're in the industry, you know other people in the industry. So you want to be top of mind for those people. So I think that people in your contact sphere are those people that you need to spend the most time networking with. If you are in this industry, but you're going to a networking group that's full of lawyers and doctors, I mean, it's going to be great if you need a lawyer or if you get sick, but it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to help you in your business. And they could be very quality individuals, and you could want to help them very much, but it doesn't mean it's going to be easy for you to help them. So again, it's about being deliberate in who you're networking with, the types of places that you're doing that networking. If you are looking for a formal networking group, you should visit different groups and make sure that these types of professionals are in that group, because if they're not, it may very well be somewhat of a waste of time for you. It won't be, because you're still going to be developing some great relationships, I hope, but it's just not going to be what it could be for you. And then you may just kind of lose steam. If you keep doing something and you're not really seeing results, the natural thing for people to want to do is to quit or to stop investing time in it. And this is a long-term marketing strategy. So you have to keep at it. So really focusing on those people in your contact sphere is going to be the best way to do that. So here are some examples of the contact sphere. You've got real estate, legal, computers and tech, personal services, fashion, finance, healthcare, insurance. So this pretty much covers everything. As you can see, that list of real estate professionals, it's not all of them by any means, but it's still a really good list. And I'm sure off the top of your head, you can think of several people right away that are in that contact sphere that you don't network with, that you don't stay in touch with or follow up with, that could make a pretty dramatic impact on your business. So how does networking increase your sales? So I'm, as I mentioned, huge on digital marketing. If you're going through my course, I'm sure that you can tell that I generate a ton of home improvement leads online. I do TV, I've done radio, I've done a lot of different things in marketing for home improvement companies. And you still see a ton of word of mouth referrals come through. I check lead sheets all the time to see, okay, where are the people who are actually buying coming from? You know, getting leads and having a sale are two different things. And you could have a ton of leads come from TV or from radio or something like that. But if only a third of those people convert, and then you have, a smaller number come from referrals, but 75% of those convert, that's going to mean so much more to your bottom line than the leads that came from TV. And I'm just going to say with pretty much 100% certainty, it's going to cost you next to nothing besides your time and your effort. Whereas TV advertising can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I'm not knocking TV. It definitely has a place. But what I want to say is that this is a way to increase your sales. It may seem harder and like it takes more work. With TV, you can throw a commercial up and let it run and do its thing. And that's true. But you want to invest in this because this will move the needle in your business. And as I mentioned before, referrals really come with a level of trust that's just not found in some other advertising. Anyone can throw an ad up anywhere. If you have money to spend, you can show an ad to someone. People lie in advertising all the time. So people have grown to be just kind of, they are very skeptical about it. And referrals don't necessarily have that. You definitely want to consider where the referral is coming from if you trust that person. But most of the time, it's coming from a family member, a friend, a coworker, somebody that you do trust and you do believe that they want what's best for you. And in networking, it's not about just the people that you're networking with. It's about their network as well. Because if you can establish a good relationship with someone, most likely they're going to talk about you and they are going to share your story or your business with other people. If everyone has 150 people in their connection network, then just having 3, 4, 5 people that you meet, that is opening up your network by leaps and bounds. And again, you just need to be patient with this approach because especially with higher dollar products and services like are typically found in the real estate industry, it can take a while for people to feel like they know you and they trust you and that they're willing to put their neck on the line, so to speak, to refer you out. And again, just nurture these. It's not like you go to a networking event and you say, hey, it was great talking to you, and that's it. It's the beginning of the conversation. It's not the end. You want to follow up with everyone that you meet that you had a genuine connection with, or that you can provide value to, or that you think you could have a referral for. Whatever it is, find a way to reach out to them. One thing that I see people make just a huge mistake, especially in places like trade shows, which trade shows are a great place to network, not only with potential customers, but with other people in their industry that could help them. They get all these business cards and they shake so many hands, and they leave the trade show, and that's the last those people will ever hear of them. You have to have a follow-up strategy in place. Set reminders on your calendar if you need to reach out to the top 10 people that you'd like to have in your sphere of influence, or those top 10 people that you know for sure would be able to send you business that would be substantial. And again, just provide value, be as helpful to them as you can be, and they will notice, I promise you. So again, some people, they have this fear of networking. They don't know how to do it. Not everyone is a natural extrovert, and I totally understand that. But you don't have to be an extrovert to be a good networker, because ultimately it all goes back to listen more than you speak and help others more than you expect to be helped. You don't have to sit there and talk about yourself or your business the entire time. That's actually the last thing you want to do. You have to be genuinely interested in what others have to say so that you can actually hear when those common connections are brought up. So first thing is arrive early or on time. So especially if you have this fear of networking, if you arrive late, the event's already started. There's a lot more noise and chatter going on. People have already kind of found these small groups, and it can be a lot harder to find a place to fit in. If you get there early, it's going to be a lot more calm. You are going to have the opportunity to start talking to some of those other early arrivers and feel like you already have a place within the event, so to speak. Again, don't be a salesperson. I can't stress that enough. No one wants to be sold. Listen more than you speak, and ask simple questions. If you're not sure how to jump into a conversation, just ask them, hey, can I join you? People are not going to say no, because again, everyone's there for the exact same reason, to make connections and to help each other grow their businesses. You also want to smile. I know that's a really basic instruction, but so many people are thinking so much about what others are thinking of them and do they look comfortable, that they totally forget to smile, and they look scared or they look standoffish, and then you don't become approachable. A simple smile on your face can go a really long way. And also talk about your passions. Share what gets you excited in life. It does not have to be all business all the time in a networking event. Talk about your family. Talk about your vacations. Talk about the philanthropic event that you're going to go to and how you plan on volunteering. People get excited about those things, and it's going to bring out that passion in you. It's going to just exude this positive energy, and that's contagious. People pick up on it, and then other people want to be around it. And definitely make eye contact. I know it can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes you can feel awkward, but it lets someone know that you're interested in them and that you're not thinking about something else or wondering when the conversation is going to be over. Focusing on how you can help them, again, is the number one way to be more comfortable at networking. Anytime I've ever felt uncomfortable in a situation, I always start asking people questions. That has allowed me to really excel at this. I've done a lot of interviews with people for testimonials and commercials and things like that. And the number one thing that I need them to do before that happens is to get them comfortable with me. A lot of people are really nervous on camera. So I just start asking them questions. I come into their home a lot of times and I'll just point things out, ask them, oh, when did that happen? Or that's a great picture. Can you tell me about that story? And they start to feel so much more comfortable. And once they do that, it takes the pressure off of them, and then they can really focus on being themselves and not being so nervous. So if you ever are nervous or uncomfortable, you just have to focus on someone else instead of yourself. And then you're not worried about yourself and if you're doing it right. You also want to make sure that you can give others the information and resources they need to refer you. So yes, it's not all business all the time, but that is the reason that you're there. If you have a business that is looking for a very specific type of person or client, you need to be specific in who you're looking for, because otherwise people don't always understand the people they may already know that could be the right fit for you. You would think, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Anytime anyone hears of someone selling a home, of course they should think of me. But that's not always true. Someone looking for an investment property, someone even looking to rent or lease. A lot of people don't think about that for a real estate agent, but they can still help with those things. So just being really specific, giving them even the verbiage that is easy for them to use when introducing you into the conversation. Depending on your business, it may be easier than others, but sometimes people just don't really know what to say. They don't know how to make it a natural injection of, hey, I know this person. I think it'd really be great for you to meet them. So help them along, give them something they can use, and make the most of every single referral that you receive. Even if it doesn't work out, those people, they know other people. If they had a good encounter or interaction with you, they're going to tell others about you. And you also want to make sure that the people who do refer you know how much you truly appreciate it. Because if they feel like it's not appreciated, why would they continue doing that? They just wouldn't. So definitely make the most of the people who are referred to you and the people who are doing the referring. And then treat every referral with care. I do know in this industry, things happen. They just do. And there's no way that you can avoid it sometimes. Mistakes are made, miscommunications happen. It sucks. But you need to do whatever you can to make the most of that, to rise above that, to try and figure it out, to communicate with the people that you're dealing with, to try and make it right. Again, things will happen, but you just have to do your best in every single situation. And that's really all I can say. It's terrible when you have a negative encounter or something doesn't go as planned. But the worst thing that you can do is run away and cower from that. You need to try and take responsibility if you can, and just let people know how you feel. If you apologize, if you need to do something differently. But ultimately, trying to avoid that situation in the first place is always the best course of action. So that's all I have for you today on networking. We've had about a 30-minute session. So if you guys have any questions relating to this call, you're welcome to ask them now. Or if you have any questions related to the course content, you're also free to ask that. So I'll help you in whatever way that I can. So I'll just chill for a while you guys think of all your awesome questions. So I really hope everybody's been able to progress in the course so far. I know that it is a lot of content, and that's sometimes the biggest struggle for people, is actually taking that time every day or every week to continue to watch the videos, to actually go through the worksheets. But I really find that if you will just commit certain times to yourself, it makes it so much easier. I know that I've taken several courses that I was super excited about, but then you get in there and it becomes a little overwhelming. But just breaking it down into manageable chunks, saying I'm going to do this module in the next week or in the next 2 weeks, and then just slowly chipping away at it is definitely the best way to actually see results from something like that. So I know that we've just gotten started a few weeks ago, which is kind of the foundation for the whole course. So hopefully you don't have too many questions yet, but if you do, definitely let me know. Hey, Claire. Yeah, I do think that is just so important, because I think we all get so wrapped up in that we need to network and we need to do these things that we forget that there's only so many hours in the day and there's only so many people that we're going to have the opportunity to meet. So only focusing on those people that are going to be the best for you. I don't know if you've gotten to the Dream 100 video in the course, but it's a very similar strategy to that Dream 100. You've got these 100 best buyers, or these people that if you were to connect with them or to sell to them, they would change your business insanely. So it also is like that with networking. You're going to have the world, and then you're going to have this handful of people that they are the key to your success. And instead of mass marketing or mass networking, you really need to hone in and focus only on those people that are going to make a big impact. And it may take you longer to reach those people or to build this really solid relationship. But when you do, the results of your efforts are going to be so much more than with anyone else. Thanks, Lori. Glad you enjoyed it. Hope you have a good night. All right, anybody else have a question? If not, we can go ahead and sign off. I'm sure you guys are hungry and ready for dinner. Awesome, Jennifer. I'm excited to hear that you're working on the avatar. I know that can be something that takes a little bit more time. It is a super important part of the program. Knowing exactly who you want to talk to, knowing their fears, knowing their aspirations and their goals, and take all the time that you need to do that, because without that piece, the rest of the pieces of the course are going to be so much more difficult for you. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's all the questions we have today. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks so much for joining me, and please continue to push through in the course. If you have any questions, any problems, any concerns, please feel free to reach out. I would absolutely love to help you. And I really am committed to the success that I know you're going to find through this marketing program. So again, thanks so much. And you guys have a great night. Talk to you soon.